Hey, what's up everyone, Olia here. So there are a few new viewers to the channel. For those who are new to the channel, I'm a designer. I also run a few online businesses and I like to make videos. Really as simple as that. So in this video, I wanted to go over 5 money habits that I've learned in my 20s. Stop spending money on things that don't give me a good return. So things that I feel like give me a good return when it comes to my money are of course things that can make me more money, that can give me long-term happiness, and also giving happiness to someone else. Maybe I can help someone else in some other way using my money, whatever it may be, friends, family, whatever. These are the things that I've learned in my 20s, and I've realized that spending money on crap, spending money on things that really just don't give me any sort of return on my money just isn't worth it. Now, it doesn't just have to be monetary returns. I do try and focus on other things like my mental health, my happiness, things like that. I don't usually try to focus on short-term happiness because short-term happiness is very, as it says in the words, very short. It doesn't last very long. I try to think about things that will give me long-term happiness, that will make my mental health better. So for example, I don't really enjoy cleaning my whole house every weekend, making sure that the kitchen is really clean, that the toilets are clean. I would much rather just pay a professional, an actual cleaner, to come in and regularly clean my home. To me, that's money well spent because I don't enjoy doing that task. If I can pay someone else to do that task for me, it also gives me time back so that I can do things that I actually enjoy and maybe even focus on projects and whatever else, see friends or whatever, whilst that person is being paid to do the job for me. Stop buying depreciating assets. So depreciating assets are things like cars and designer clothing. These sorts of things I really don't think are worth the money unless you already have the money to burn and unless your life is already quite stable. These are just things which most people in their 20s spend a lot of money on, and I really do think it's such a waste. Buying a car, for example, if you buy a car for 10,000 and then in a few weeks you have to sell it, now it's worth 9,000, 8,000. It's not really a good investment. Of course, a lot of people need a car to get around, to get to work and things like that, but don't feel like you have to spend a lot of money to have a really nice car. It really just isn't worth it. I personally do enjoy cars. I like sports cars. That's definitely one of my massive guilty pleasures. But the reason I can spend that money and the reason that I can buy these cars is because I'm already very financially stable. For me to burn however much money on a sports car, I'm happy to do that. But there are a lot of people in their 20s who aren't financially stable, who maybe are still living with parents, who don't have any sort of investments, who are going out buying 30, 40, 50,000 pound cars. And I just think to myself, what are you doing? You should be using that money to maybe pay for your own place or just invest it into things. The same applies to designer clothing. I find it insane that people spend hundreds on designer clothing. Now, I understand if you buy a piece of clothing which is quite exclusive, you know, you can buy it, maybe hold on to it and sell it more for later on. But most of the time I see a lot of people in their 20s just buying quite normal designer clothing for a couple of hundred, and I just think that's absolutely insane. What a waste of money that is. Save for the big stuff. Now, I found setting goals early on is so important. I set a goal quite early on in my life that, hey, I need to save up a deposit for my own house. Now, when you first start off and you don't really have much money, you think saving up 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, whatever, however much deposit you need, seems so far away. It seems so far off. It just seems almost impossible. But once you start and you keep at it and you do it for a few years or a few months, however long you need to save up for, it is such a satisfying feeling seeing this amount of money saved up in your bank account that you can use to buy your own place or to have whatever investment, maybe start your own business or whatever it is. Setting goals early on, I think it's just so important, and it's something a lot of people don't do in their 20s because they just think, I'll do it later on, I'll do it when I'm 30, I'll do it when I'm 40, or they're just put off because they think, I need to save up so much money. How am I going to save up all this money? You've just got to start very early and you've really got to keep at it. Delayed gratification is such a good feeling. Don't just save, but also find ways to increase your income. It's quite easy to save money and be as frugal as you can be, but I realized quite early on that I can't just save money. I also need to learn how to increase my income, because when it comes to saving money, there's only so much you can save of whatever you're earning anyway. But when it comes to increasing your income, that's infinite. You could really earn as much money as you want to. And once you get to the stage where you're earning a lot more money, you realize you don't actually have to be as frugal and you don't have to save as much money. And the mental work that goes into saving money and being as frugal as possible, it just goes away. You don't need to do that anymore. I feel like it can weigh quite heavily on a lot of people. I know it did for me when I wasn't earning a lot of money. I just thought to myself, man, I'm saving, but I'm just not saving that much money. I don't know what's going on. And I just realized I need to increase my income. I need to work out how I can bring in more money so that I don't have to spend so much time saving it. Avoid debt and credit cards. So I personally have never actually taken out any loans or taken out any credit cards. I set a sort of rule to myself that me personally, I don't want to be liable to anything like that. I don't want to have any debts or any credit card debts or anything like that. The only debt I do have is the mortgage on my house that I'm living in right now. But I don't even really see that as a debt because I'm investing money into an appreciating asset. You know, my house is already worth 10, 20% more than when I bought it a few years ago. So to me, I don't technically see that as a debt. But even then, that's the only debt really that I would go into if it's for property or if it's for business related stuff. Anything else, it just isn't worth it, especially credit cards. It is nuts how many people I see just bang stuff on a credit card and then they have to pay it off at a higher rate in a couple of months. I've always just told myself that if I can't buy it with the money that I have right now, then I can't afford it. I will wait, I'll save up for it, whatever it is. I know in places like America, it's different because actually taking a credit card out and using a credit card for payments can be a great way to build up credit points and get cash back and things like that, get lots of rewards. In the UK, we don't have those same sort of rewards, so it's not really worth it for us here in the UK. But if you're using a credit card for points, and as long as you pay it off every month without actually paying any interest, then that really is a good way to use a credit card. But if you can't pay it off, then don't put it on the credit card. Just don't get loans, don't get credit cards for things that really aren't going to make you any more money. So those are just some of the money habits that I learned in my 20s. Please leave a comment below on some of the money habits that you've learned, whatever age you might be, it really doesn't matter. I think it's very important to share these habits, to share sort of financial knowledge, you could say, in a way, just because I think the more people know this sort of stuff, the more financially independent people can be. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and subscribe for more.